to the next talk titled Enhancing Ad Blocker Quality Assurance Using AI. And this presentation will be held by Chenska from Opera. And Tina specializes in turning repetitive tasks into automated solutions as she works as QA engineer. And her work also spans over several browser features such as ad blockers, VPNs, privacy tools, and extensions to just make the web smarter and safer. And her presentation will basically explore how AI can bring new capabilities to ad blocker testing in Opera browser, from detecting visual changes to automating the discovery of test scenarios. Welcome, Tina.
Hi, everyone. Hi, hello. My name is Tina, and I'm working at Opera browser, and mainly I'm focusing on quality assurance. So I'm working on quality assurance team, and mainly I conduct some tests and build some testing solutions. Actually, I'm working for different browser features, not only for ad blocker, also for sidebar setup, themes, and others. And in my daily work, I actually try to connect two different worlds that are not communicate enough, so user experience and testing. It means that I read a lot what users say, their feedback, and I also try to translate this feedback into our testing pipelines. So today I'm going to tell you about how we actually use AI nowadays in our tests, how we inject it into our users' report pipeline, and how we improve it by the last year. Because last year on this stage I have a presentation and I tell you how what we do with user reports, what is a pipeline, and it was like that. So when user conduct a report, like user see an issue, we get a report in Jira or in Looker system, we get some notification there. And then just we check if there are some tests that can cover these steps. So if there is one, we run this test. If no, we can add or adjust test, and we improve our testing baseline by this. But this flow, it's actually have big disadvantage, and you need a very big user base of highly motivated users that want to give a feedback to your feature like all the time. They also need to provide steps, reproduction steps to your reports. And for everyone who deals somehow with user reports, you maybe know that one day you got a lot of them, and another day, like it's just vacation time and you get none, but you already release a product. So my question was the whole flow we actually used, it's reactive by design. And it means that to make some change, we need somebody to report it, and we need something to break. So we are always a step behind. The question was if we can make it more proactive, and where we need to add this layer of proactivity. So usually we got reports like this, like ad blocker stopped working, and that's all. Sometimes we also get some kind of logs or screenshots, but mainly the report looks like that. And what happened next? When it goes to your team, your QA engineer or your engineers they have to conduct some smoke test list. They go through the question one by one, what actually happens. Like, is it an extension problem, or maybe it's some browser problem, network issue, or maybe some rule applied incorrectly. So, and when we have to scale this kind of problems, when we have to scale this kind of issues, it became very hard for our engineers. So we decided to put some kind of level of testing, like this proactive layer of testing here, and we create something that signalize us that about product quality automatically. And of course, like we have unit tests, we have functional tests, we have some UI tests that tell us how pop-up is rendered or how counter works on a page. But sometimes it's not tell the whole story, and sometimes it's not validate the real user reality, because when we come back to this slide, when AdBlocker stopped working, it not usually mean that your tests are bad. Sometimes it means that your just users on his favorite website that he saw one ad that appears because it's a new type of ad and we haven't chance to block it. And for him, it's from his perspective, AdBlocker stopped work. But from perspective of our tests, everything's passed. So we asked the question ourselves, how do we know that AdBlocker works on a page? So when you open a page, like go to www.something.com, press enter, how do you know that AdBlocker is turned on? It's maybe a question for the audience. Okay, but what does it mean for you? Okay, so the page looks clean. Okay, it can be, like I have some tips here on the slide. Okay, it's a tricky one. It's for some active users probably. Yeah, for me, first of all, I also scan with my, I scan the page and my brain just look at the page and say okay, I don't see ads in some specific places, in header, in some, right side, for example. And then just maybe I don't see some banners or some bright things like pop-up that buy something on a red pop-up or red rectangle. And we actually use this concept to update our tests. So how we do it? We create a system which actually conduct from 3 steps. First step is to create reliable screenshots. So to use visual validation AI, you have to rely on screenshots that are really that are conducted in some kind of locked environment. So firstly, you have to lock your environment. Of course, it's dynamic web and websites changed a lot, of course. But to do it, like some preparation step, it's just we lock a viewport, we add some lazy loading script there. So we add some kind of things that we rely on that make our screenshot reliable. And for it, we use split screen in Opera browser. So in one context, in one browser, is the same browser actually, you got a lot of, in one browser, you got website in a 2 view with AdBlocker turned on and AdBlocker turned off. So your profile is the same, your geo is the same, your browser, country from server, user agent, and other parameters are similar. The only difference is this feature which is turned on and turned off. And what is and when we already have those screenshots, we can make this step 2. We can go further with visual validation agent. So this visual AI layer, we actually ask about the ad density score here. So we compare 2 screenshots with AdBlocker turned on and turned off, and compare visual ad density score on both of them. Inside of this system, sometimes it makes some transformation for the image to find some ad-like patterns. It also, we also found that when we make some transformation on this screenshots, sometimes ads are more brighter, and sometimes they also shows us different borders and frames, even not visible with our eyes, but it's visible when we transform the image. And of course, we add also some OCRs there, so it tries to find some patterns like advertisement, promoted, ad, etc. Also find some typical borders and frames that are typical for ads. So we know that banners, for example, have this kind of sizes, and it also provides us with a visual logs. So we know that ads have some. When ads are detected, we get a borders, like a frame. Where is it detected exactly? And this works surprisingly. So it works good with AI, with visual AI models. So even you can try it yourself with Opera Neon Chat. So you can just push your screenshot and ask to how many ads is on the page, and chat will answer you why it thinks that it's an ad and how many of them. So of course it returns answer in a human-like way, but you can change it a bit and integrate into your CI pipeline. And of course, also important step here, the last one, but not the least, it's creating alerts and route it to a proper team, because when, for example, we saw that delta changed twice, that delta at density score for some website, like yesterday it was 1 and tomorrow it's twice bigger, that something definitely changed. We wrote it into some appropriate team, we create a ticket, we notify them, and also we do it all for integrate it into our pipeline of user reporting. It's because we do it from the first slide. So when user report an issue, we extract a data, we extract URL, and then we run this test with visual validation, and we know if something goes wrong. So visual validation agents, it's not only one thing that where you can apply, where you can improve your tests. You can also use it for creating some data sets for your tests. And for example, we use Opera Neon agent here. It can create for you some kind of list with different websites. In our case, we ask for top websites from some concrete region. It can be for some newspapers or for some video, for example, websites. And it updated all, in our case, it can be updated for some time, for example, for 3 days, every 3 days. And extracted in the format which is suitable for your test. So if your test use CSV, it also can be useful. So, and the most wonderful part here, you don't need a big AI stack to try those kind of tests. Everybody can try it. You just need a few URLs. You just need to create a screenshots, use AI chat, ask about the ad density score, and then you can integrate it into your CI, automate it, and let your pipeline tell you when your product looks wrong, even before your users do it. So if I would leave you today with one idea, one thing, I prefer it would be just don't test only your code and don't just only validate logs or counters in your ad blocker, but try to make sure that what users see matches what you really intend to build. I'm looking forward for your questions. Thank you. welcome. All the time. Microphone issues.
Thanks for the presentation. And I just had a question. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you just like focused on more of the visual outcome of the extension of the website with and without the extension, or with or without the ad blocker. But have you tried to, or have you explored taking this like a little bit beyond just the visuals and just making sure if the website is just like functioning as it should, or I don't know, sometimes it breaks, but it's not about a visual, it's more about like the login is not working.
Yeah, but it's not, I understand the question, but like, I'm talking about a specific issue, like a specific kind of test, like when we had a report, for example, that AdBlocker stopped working on this website, and if like website not reachable itself, it's just covered before on this pipeline from the first slide. So we already know that it's not reachable, but it's so rare situations that like almost never happen. Or okay, it can be, for example, in paywalls. So if you have a paywall, sometimes it's hard to understand what's happened there. So for example, for these situations, it can be.
Nice.
Hi. Thank you for the talk. So I wonder how big the scale of this visual testing. Like, do you have a predefined list of sites that you monitor?
Yeah.
Or do you just do it for every incoming report? Or
yeah, sure. Like first of all, like it divided into two parts. Like we have first part, it's something that like a crawler. Yeah, we just test everything and just see if something broken, and like as much as we can. And another part, it's based on this reports from users, just extraction URLs that they give, because sometimes we can't investigate also issues. For example, in this crawler, we have a website, but like it's just a domain, and user give us something like inside the site, which is hard to find sometimes, and it's really for those corner cases, it's excited that we can find something in this way.
no.
So do you, thanks for the talk. Do you run this on a like continuous basis? So you said you have some crawlers for.
Yeah, we run it like we have just GitLab pipeline, and we run it like inside the project.
How often is that calling?
So it's on everyday basis, but for this long list, like geo list, because we have just for 50 websites, the most popular in all in each geolocation. So it's just once for 3 days. Yeah.
I see. And then can you share more about the visual model that is being used for this?
We try different ones, so we're still experimenting with it and looking for the one which is better. But we were surprised like how it works even with some open source models. We use ChatGPT 4o for this, and it works, and also works with the Olama. And like we really was surprised because it's a really step over like. Previously, we have pixel perfect testing, like we compare some screenshots and etc. And it take more time. And now it's like just we send a prompt there and give answer. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, cool. And then I'm curious if you can share any of the like cost, the impact of doing something like this.
I don't know, unfortunately, so I don't have. Maybe I also can add on like, because we have another cluster, we have our own cluster on Iceland, so I don't know how cost it, like, because it's another kind of money problem. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was very interesting. Have you thought about maybe open sourcing parts of it? So
I don't know, like we can discuss it. So I'm not sure. Like I won't. Okay, so I'm interested if it's interesting for you also, because like we are not sure like if it's...
we could all probably use.
Okay.
And well, it's a thing that we could also contribute back, so it can be useful to everyone.
Okay, it's not that much like, because my question was it wasn't that much complicated. It's just something that we inject into our pipeline. It was easily to inject actually, and it's based on prompting to LLM, and it's okay if you're interested, we can discuss it, and maybe I don't know, like maybe yes.
Thanks for the talk. I was wondering which testing framework do you use to orchestrate this test plan?
Okay, so we use a few ones, like of course, okay, it depends, because like a browser, we also need to test web view and native UI, and if we have tests which have both sides, also native one, we use our internal system, like it based on, I think it's WebDriver, like Chromium ones, and like Selenium also come there, but it's also internal one, it's called Accessible. And like we also have tests in Playwright, and we also use separate tools to make in screenshots, because as I mentioned, like this part is the most important one, and if screenshots goes wrong, like everything goes wrong there.
Right, and then they use I don't know, Mocha or...
No, like the idea wasn't to use mockup. The idea was to log the environment as much as we can, because for mockups we can do some kind of functional tests. So like as previously, for example, we check if rule applies correctly, and other things like what I do, I think, like it's a 2-year-old presentation from AdGuard, like was, and like in this case, the idea was to test real pages. So
No, sorry, I meant JS, Mocha, or to run the test. Just curious, at the if it would be Node, maybe one of the choices would be Mocha JS, or you said Playwright.
Yeah. Okay, so am I understand your question? Like you ask if we can use another framework without like not only.
Playwright gives you everything.
Like yes, we also have tests in Playwright, and it also helps us. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.